guys, what's going on? Jebb here, and in today's video, we are going to be talking about the Bitcoin price because, as you probably already know, Bitcoin has been in a small uptrend over the last week and a half, ever since the 24th of January when it bottomed out at $33,000. Bitcoin has rallied all the way up to where it sits right now, just below 39. We talked about in yesterday's episode of Coffee and Crypto, which goes live 9:30 Eastern every single weekday, by the way. You should definitely tune in all 5 days. We talked about how $39,000 was an important level of resistance for Bitcoin to break, and how there's a downtrending level of resistance that Bitcoin has been under for the better part of the last 2.5 months. That downtrending level of resistance sits roughly at $40,000. If Bitcoin is able to break above both of those, push up towards 42, and continue to break above $42,000, then we could be expecting a major rally back up to all-time high, likely in the next 3 to 4 months. But if Bitcoin is not able to break all three of those levels, then we're probably going to be seeing Bitcoin heading back down to $33,000. So the if-then statement is, if Bitcoin breaks 42, then all-time high in the next 6 months. If Bitcoin does not break 42, then $33,000 is what is likely. In this episode, we're going to be talking about how Bitcoin is in a very important decision point right now. Is it about to have that major breakout to the upside, or is it about to have a major break to the downside? We're going to be analyzing Bitcoin, and we're also going to be analyzing 3 altcoins that you guys have been asking for quite a lot: Quant, DOT, and KDA, also known as Kadena. We're going to talk about all of that and more in today's episode of Coffee and Crypto Live. So make sure you smash that like button if you haven't already. I am joined, as always, by my spectacular, amazing, wonderful, and strong co-host.
Love it.
Tim's TA. How you
love
doing,
it.
Tim?
I love the change up of the.
You thought I was going to say illustrious, didn't you?
Is that an adjective? Are those adjectives? I'm not good with English.
I'm not good with English.
But you know what? I'm ready to put in the work today.
Oh,
I'm ready to work.
Let's go.
I'm ready for this show. It's going to be a good one.
It is going to be a good one. Guys, smash that like button. I already got 700 people watching. Thank you so much for that. I know we can get to 250 likes here in the next couple of minutes. It really helps to support this channel whenever you hit that like button, because it helps YouTube to push this content in the algorithm. So if you're looking forward to today's show, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. Tune in 5 days a week. So we're bringing you the highest quality on YouTube, technical and fundamental and on-chain analysis of crypto markets. And we'd love to see your smiling faces every single day. We're also joined, as always, by our technical director and producer, Smay. How you doing, Smay? You're amazing, wonderful, awesome, and strong. There you go. Is that better?
Wow. I mean, thank you. I was just gearing up to shout out members,
Okay.
but I mean, I appreciate the compliments.
Yeah.
But I would like to shout out some members in the chat, guys. We have April Sue, Elliot Locke, Crypto Couple, Cryptosaurus Rex, I the Beholder, Mark, Mike Markle, Brad Geidel, Crypto Alchemist, Ricardo Venegas. Man, you guys are so cool.
Man.
You guys are so cool, and I like you guys a lot. You know, I like you, I love you, and you guys mean a lot to me. I have dreams about you guys.
Oh.
You know, so
Okay.
just so you guys know, that's how much I care about you guys. But,
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I have dreams about that shirt. That's a very interesting shirt.
I like that
Smay.
shirt, yeah.
Smay, can you tell us what is the market sentiment feeling about your shirt right now?
I think they're very bullish on it, as am I. And guys, look, it has pockets on both
Whoa.
pecs.
That's awesome.
So look at that.
Ooh, that Velcro. That sounds
Look at that.
great.
It's very nice.
Nice,
nice.
dude.
Thank you.
Nice. That's a good-looking shirt. Kelly, how are you doing, buddy? Up in New York City. Good to see you.
I'm doing excellent. I'm feeling a little discombobulated this morning because my bed somehow ate my my AirPod headphones I usually wear. So I'm going with the uniform look with you all with the headphones, but really excited about the show today. You know, we got price looking like it's about to break out. Which direction? We're not going to know until it happens, but we're going to be prepared, and we're going to go over it in today's stream. We got some on-chain metrics that could show some of the ideas about what may be happening and give us a little bit of a preview and what might be going on. So let's just jump right into it.
Awesome. Well, JC3 NFT bullish says he's bullish on Smay's shirt. I would say I'm bullish on Smay's shirt too. Smay's shirt got the money green, green plants, and I think that we're going to see some money green uptrends today. See what I did there? Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and take a look over here at CoinGecko. We're going to look at CoinGecko because of the ability to sort the top 100 over biggest gainers and losers in the last 24 hours. And funnily enough, a lot of people are actually very bored with Bitcoin, but also kind of on edge. I think the sentiment right now in Bitcoin is everybody's thinking, okay, when is Bitcoin finally going to do something? Bitcoin's been trading sideways more or less for the last week or so. I want to see, is Bitcoin going to break this uptrending level of support, or is Bitcoin going to break this flat level of resistance? Are we going to see an uptrend or a downtrend? It's almost You know, the funny thing, when Bitcoin's in a solid trend and it's up or it's down, that's almost normally better, even if you are on the opposite side of the trend and you want it to go down because you're in a short but it's going up, or you want to go up because you're in a long but it's going down. It's almost more soothing for Bitcoin to be going in one direction than in no direction, because you don't have uncertainty. At least you know what the trend is. But right now, it's kind of like we're sitting on the edge of our seat feeling like, oh my gosh, where is Bitcoin going to go? Is it going to go up or down? And I think there's a lot of antsiness, there's a lot of anxiety in the market right now. And we're going to try and demystify that, pull back the fog of war, and really get an idea of where the market is heading. Over the last literally just couple of minutes, Bitcoin has had a drop, and I do see this, by the way. Bitcoin dropped from $38,400 down 2% in 2 minutes, negative $800. We're going to look at this here in a little bit. I'm going to bring up a long squeeze, and I'm going to look at that because I have a feeling that's what has just occurred. But we're going to get to our Bitcoin technical analysis here in about 5 minutes. But over on CoinGecko, I do want to show you the biggest gainers and losers. Quant, which is one of the cryptocurrencies we're going to be looking at a little bit later, up 12%. Internet Computer up 7.3%. Synthetics Network Token up 7%. Not personally invested in any of these, but they are doing pretty well today. And we can also see Loopring, SafeMoon, Kadena, Flow, Decentraland, Aave, Cosmos, CeeLo, Gala, Axie Infinity, Phantom. A lot of really solid projects down in the middle single digits right now. And that's not something that I'm super concerned about. The fact that there's a healthy spread between gainers and losers today actually just solidifies my point that the market right now is bored, because the market right now does not have a clearly defined trend. And with that in mind, we're actually going to jump on over to Bitcoin, and we're going to try to determine what that trend is, and then we're going to keep moving here. So let's go ahead and take a look quickly at Bitcoin. The first thing I want to show you guys is the overall macro trend. I want to zoom out a little bit and just show you the macro picture on what Bitcoin is doing, and then we're going to zoom in and we're going to look at the last few days with a little bit more detail. Bitcoin set more or less a double top, an M top, in the year of 2021. We rallied up to the mid-60s twice, double topped up there, and then followed those with 3-month-long downtrends. That's what we are in right now. We're at what I believe to be more or less the bottom of this 3-month-long downtrend. In doing so, Bitcoin has broken critical support multiple times. One of those critical levels of support was at $42,000. We flipped $42,000 from support that we were maintaining now into resistance. So that's why I see 42 to 43,000 as so important. If Bitcoin is going to go back into an uptrend and confirm an uptrend, $42,000 is the level that I'm looking at to confirm just that. On top of that, Bitcoin is also in a very clear downtrend. We have this downtrending level of resistance right here that started back at the very top on November the 10th. That was a great day for Bitcoin. It was a great day all around. Bitcoin pulled back from $69,000, and we set another high here at 60, then another high here at 51,000, then another high here at 44,000, and so forth and so on. At the moment, that is a trend line that Bitcoin desperately wants to break. It has not done that yet. You might be wondering, Jebb, Bitcoin has been in an uptrend ever since January the 24th. We bottomed out at $33,000. We have bullish things going on, like Lux Algo is bullish down on the hourly chart through the 12-hour chart. Why are you not more bullish on Bitcoin? Why are you not calling for an uptrend? Why are you still bearish? Because we have not broken this downtrend, and because we have not broken 42K. So I just want to set the stage. Those are the two levels that I'm looking at very closely. Those are very important levels for us to pay close attention to. With that in mind, there's also another trend line that you can see right here. It's constituted by a high back over here, right here, and then also right here. You could also draw this trend line like this if you so chose to do so, but the point is there's a downtrending level of support based on the candle wicks as well. This shows us that Bitcoin at the moment is in what is known as a falling wedge. Falling wedges typically break to the upside, but they also sometimes will have the price action go all the way to the very end. And if we did go to the very, very end of this falling wedge, it would theoretically push us down right close to $30,000. And that is my macro prediction at this point until I'm proven wrong. I still believe that we're going to go down to $30,000. However, there is some bullishness going on in the market. There is some bullish sentiment going on in the market right now that makes the argument that we could be out of the woods. I personally don't subscribe to that argument. I do think we're going to see another drop, and we'll talk about why. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of our oscillators, some of our actual technical indicators. One of the things to look at is the MACD. MACD has been bullish and is diverging bullish, which is a very good sign, and it has been doing that since the 28th. I will caution you, though, don't assume that just because we have bullish MACD that we're about to go into a massive uptrend, because didn't we have bullish MACD right here? Didn't we have bullish MACD right here? And we did not go into a massive uptrend. So remember to do your historical analysis. Remember to look back on the last 5 to 10 data points of whatever technical indicator you're looking at so that you don't get a false signal. MACD on the daily chart will give you the false signal of bullishness on the long term. Right now, we are in a secondary downtrend to the primary, we're in a a tertiary uptrend, so we're in a small uptrend, to the secondary downtrend, and the secondary downtrend is to the primary uptrend. There's three major types of trends in the market. The primary uptrend is a bull market. We've been in a bull market for over 2 years. We're in a secondary downtrend, which we've been in since November 10th, and we're in a tertiary, meaning third level, uptrend since January 24th. Don't assume that we're going back into a secondary uptrend when we're only in a tertiary uptrend. Primary is first, secondary is second, tertiary is third. You probably heard of those in your high school biology class in 10th grade about primary predator, secondary, etc. Tertiary, that's what we're in right now. We're in a tertiary trend. We're in the third layer of trends. If you want to study that more, I encourage you to look into something called Dow theory. It talks about that. That's over a 100-year-old theory about technical analysis and price action and chart reading. Now, what I do want to show you is how we might get into a secondary uptrend to follow that primary uptrend. Looking out on the 3 daily chart, we see something very interesting with MACD. MACD tells us right now that we are still downtrending. We have not moved to the upside just yet, and we need to have this bullish cross come into play. When that occurs, then we very well may be in a secondary uptrend following the primary uptrend. Every single time in recent memory that we've seen a bullish MACD cross that was significant, we've seen an uptrend. Boom, uptrend. Boom, uptrend. Boom, uptrend. So we want to see a bullish MACD cross on the 3 daily chart because it's much less likely that that would give us a false signal. So we've talked about that before on this channel about how to read MACD, but I did just want to give you that example because I think that's going to be very, very helpful. Now, I'm going to throw some of this RSI analysis over to Tim here in about 5-10 minutes, but for right now, I just want to show you that there is a downtrending level of resistance on the price action. I'll actually go ahead and show you on a clean chart here. There's a downtrending level of resistance on the price action right here, and there's a flat level of resistance on the RSI. That is not necessarily a good sign, and that does indicate that we could be setting up what is known as bearish RSI divergence. It's not quite there yet. It is a weaker form of bearish RSI divergence because this is flat, but especially if the price rallies a little bit farther, the RSI rallies a little bit farther, maybe up here to 44, if we see an uptrend like this on the RSI, and then we see a downtrend, something like this on the price action, that would be bearish RSI divergence, and bearish RSI divergences typically do not get ignored. They typically do very, very well and signify that the market is going to go into a downtrend. So pay very, very close attention to that. Next thing I want to show you has to do with the Bollinger Bands. If we bring up the Bollinger Bands here, we're going to see that Bitcoin is actually testing a very important level of resistance that we are currently, unfortunately, rejecting from. Looking at the Bollinger Bands, we have two major things that we need to look at. Number one, we have this center line. This is what is known as the 20 simple moving average. This is just a moving average that takes the average price of the last 20 closes on candlesticks. So a candlestick has four things: open, close, high, and low. The high part of a candlestick is the upper wick. Let me just zoom in here. I'll do a little 30-second long candlestick analysis explanation for any of our new people here. The top of the wick is called the high. The bottom of the wick is called the low. The opening of the candlestick, so the top of a red, bottom of a green, is called the open, and then the close of the candlestick, whatever the price was at the end of that time frame, is called the close. What the 20 moving average in the Bollinger Bands does is it takes an average of the last 20 closes. So the close might be $44,000. The one before that might be $43,000, then $42,000, then $41,500. You take the last 20, average them all out, and you get this rolling moving average here that helps us to do analysis. If you want to learn more about how that works, I encourage you to sign up for the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. That's the academy that I've been running for 4 years, and I've taught many thousands of students how to do technical analysis. You can find the link for that down below. If you'd like to learn more about moving averages, we have dedicated videos on them over there. We are currently sitting just below the 20 moving average in the Bollinger Bands. The 20 moving average is so important because whenever we're above it, as you can see right here, we're in an uptrend. Whenever we're below it, as you can see right here, we're in a downtrend. Whenever we're above it, we're in an uptrend, and whenever we are below it, we are in a downtrend. You can just see, if you just pause and look at this for about 5-10 seconds, whenever we're above it, uptrend, below it, downtrend, above it, uptrend, below it, downtrend. But of course, if you're going to go above or below something, at some point you have to pass and cross that. At the moment, we are currently below the 20 simple moving average, and we're currently rejecting from it. You can see this somewhat large red candlestick that has formed even just over the last 15 minutes is showing just that. At the moment, we are rejecting from there, but if we do manage to get above $39,000, which remember, that was one of the levels I said earlier, $39,000 to $40,000 is an important first step onto that 42K level. If we're able to get above the Bollinger Bands, and this flat level of resistance right here, that would be a very good sign that, okay, maybe we are going through that initial what-if phase of going up to $42,000 and beyond. And by the way, guys, if you're enjoying today's stream, smash that like button. I know we can get to 800 likes here in the next couple of minutes. Thank you so very much for tuning in. Here in about 5 minutes, I'm going to throw it to Tim. I want to see his opinion on the TA, but we're going to keep it moving here. We want to see Bitcoin at the moment break through this flat level of resistance, break through the 20 simple moving average, and if we're able to do that, then we'll be able to have a stronger case for bullishness. At the moment, we do not have a very strong case for bullishness. We actually still have a very strong case for bearishness. So the zone I want you to pay attention to, I'll say it for the 15th time, is 38 to 39K. If we're able to break through there, then we start moving in a good direction. Now, I also want to show you Lux Algo, because Lux Algo is a technical indicator that I am absolutely in love with. It's a phenomenal indicator, and I'm going to show you why. Lux Algo down on these time frames, these shorter term time frames, helps us to understand that Bitcoin is currently in an uptrend. In fact, I'm going to show you on the 4-hourly chart. Bitcoin is in an uptrend, and one of the ways that we know that is because Lux Algo, frankly, tells us that we're in an uptrend. We know that we're in an uptrend because we had a buy signal right here. We had this little green line right here turn green. That's called the trend catcher. If you go into your Lux Algo Premium, go into settings, scroll down, you have indicator overlay under inputs. You have EQ cloud, reversal zone, trend catcher, trend tracer. All of these, if you turn all of those on, then Lux Algo is going to look like this. Right now, we're not using EQ Cloud, we're not using reversal zones or trend tracer, we're just using the signals and the trend catcher. So not trend tracer, we're using trend catcher. There's a difference there. So we're using buy signal and trend catcher. Trend catcher is green, we have a buy signal, and also another part of Lux Algo we'll bring up is Lux Oscillator. If you have Lux Algo, just go into your indicators, go into community scripts, or excuse me, invite only scripts, and you get Lux Oscillator Premium right there. That's what we're looking at. Lux Oscillator is green, so we know that we're in a confirmed uptrend on 4-hourly chart. But remember, and I want to break this down really quickly, remember what I said earlier. 3 types of markets. There's primary, secondary, tertiary. We do not want to mix up the two. What is a primary market? That's a bull or a bear market. What is a secondary market? A primary market is a bull or a bear market. Those exist on the orders of years. A secondary market is a major uptrend or a downtrend. Those exist on the order of 2 weeks to 3 to 4 months. That's about what a secondary trend is. Right now, we're in a secondary downtrend, and you'll see how this ties in just a second. Right now, we're in a primary uptrend, a bull market that's been lasting many years. We're in a secondary downtrend. That is a corrective movement against the primary trend. So we're going up, against that is going down. We're in a secondary corrective trend on the scale of the last 3 months. And then inside that secondary corrective trend, we're in a tertiary corrective trend against it. So basically, we're in a bull market here, we're in a secondary downtrend, and then we're in a smaller uptrend. That's pretty much what the market is. This is our bull market, this is our corrective trend against the bull market, then this is our corrective trend against the corrective trend against the bull market. So that's what we're in. What we don't want to do is we don't want to confuse this tertiary movement for a secondary movement. Secondary movements exist on the order of 2 to 3 months. Tertiary movements exist on the order of a day to 14 days. This is a small uptrend. It is not a major uptrend just yet. And the reason I bring all that up is because down on the 4-hourly chart, Lux Algo is telling us, okay, we're bullish. We have a buy signal. Okay, we have Lux Oscillator. Boom, we're in a buy signal. Even up to 6-hourly chart, we see that we're in an uptrend here on Lux Algo. We're in a buy signal here. On 8-hour chart, we're in a buy signal. We're going to see it right there. Boom, buy signal. We're even in a strong buy signal. This was a weak buy signal. It changing green like this shows that we're in a strong buy signal. Looking at the 12-hour chart, to my knowledge, I believe we're still under a buy signal. All of these are telling us that we're in a a tertiary uptrend to the secondary downtrend. What I want to see is I want to see Lux Algo flip green, and this will be my concluding thought, and I'm going to throw it to Tim for his opinion. What I want to see are a few things. Number one, I want to see Lux Algo give me a bullish buy signal on the daily chart, which means a buy signal which would look like this. It would just say buy on the chart. You can see we've seen multiple of those. Then I want to see trend catcher, which is this line turned green, and then I want to see Lux Oscillator green. Lux Oscillator is already green, so we got one of the 3, but I want all 3. I want it on the daily chart, I want it on the 2-daily chart, and I want it on the 3-daily chart. Ideally, I want it on the 3-daily chart, because whenever Lux Algo gives us signals out on the 3-daily chart, they are very strong. This strong buy signal, boom, uptrend. Sell signal, we went into a downtrend. Strong buy signal, uptrend. Buy signal, uptrend, sell signal, downtrend. You can just pause right here and look at how phenomenal of a job Lux Algo does. I want to see that buy signal come into play on the 3-daily chart, and I want to see it stay there for a week to 10 days. If I see that, then I will confidently say that we're in an uptrend and we're going back to all-time high in the next 3 to 4 months. That has not happened just yet. So number one, I want to see Lux Algo do that. Number two, I also want to see RSI on the 3-daily chart break above this 14-day moving average. If you don't have this 14-day moving average, you need to go into TradingView, you need to type in RSI. You will see it says updated here. You need to delete your RSI, bring it back up. This is a new feature that was rolled out less than a month ago on TradingView. By the way, if you don't have TradingView, sign up for it. We got a link in the description. I want to see Bitcoin get above this 14-day moving average on RSI and stay above it for 7 to 10 days to confirm that we're in an uptrend. Remember, when we're in an uptrend, we saw it here, we saw it here. We got above that moving average, stayed above it for 7 to 14 days. Got above it, stayed above it for 7 to 14 days. I want to see that happen. That'll be another confirmation. And last but not least, I want to see a bullish MACD cross come into play on the 3-daily chart and stay in effect for 7 to 14 days. If I see those 3 things, and also, by the way, we break $42,000. If we do those 4 things, excuse me, and I see us maintain those for 7 to 10 days, I will confidently say that we're going back to all-time high in the next 3 to 4 months. Until that happens, here's my final opinion on the matter. We are going to $30,000. Until I'm proven wrong by those 4 things happening, my opinion is we're going to $30,000, and I would love to hear Tim's take on that. What are you seeing on the charts, my friend?
And you know what? I'm going to stick just to divergence, just to RSI divergence. And I'm going to try, also, by the way, I'm going to try to do this in less than 3 minutes. This is a new challenge. Here we go. Go to my chart real quick here, Smay. I'm going to start with the daily chart, move to the 4-hourly chart, go to the hourly chart, show you what I am seeing. Just as Jebb mentioned, we have a flat top right here on this RSI. Those you can see that dotted line I have, flat top, but you're going to see a massive difference in that price. This is what we call hidden bearish RSI divergence. Why is it hidden? Because the trend is on the way down and we're seeing that difference in price. I could go into more detail, but just know right now on the daily chart, we're in a downtrend. So anytime you're going to see a divergence in price, you're probably, especially if it's bearish, it's going to be either hidden or what we call medium divergence, which brings us to the downside. What I'm looking for, and I've been calling this for a while, is what we're probably going to see happen is a bounce back up. And I think we're going to set up actually hidden divergence. This is medium. We're going to look up for actually hidden divergence, which is where the RSI price or the RSI rate goes up, but the price goes down. That's officially hidden. Right now, what we're looking at is what we call medium bearish divergence. That's the daily chart. That is bearish. For everyone in chat, shout out to the bears. You're absolutely right. It does not look like it's in a great spot right now on the daily chart. When we move to the 4-hourly chart, we're seeing a continuation, but we're now using different levels. You're going to see that flat level kind of not quite be there. This same point that makes us flat on the daily chart, we haven't quite gotten there on the 4-hourly chart. However, look at this flat top right here, despite the fact that the price is up. So this is where we switch. On the 4-hourly chart, we are actually in an uptrend right now. You guys are seeing this uptick in price. It's a shorter time frame. However, this flat top of RSI, this is what we call weak bearish RSI divergence, which means this is actually something saying that we're potentially going to flip back to the downside. So again, bears, this kind of validates that thought of we potentially are at this top before we're going to have one more dip before the rally. Where we get a little more interesting is on the hourly chart, where we're actually in the process of potentially setting up some bullish movement. I'm going to make this RSI just a little smaller so you can see. We were kind of in a trend. We were kind of in a downtrend with our RSI price or RSI rates right here that we are right now below. However, what I am keeping an eye on is look at how low this RSI rate is right here. We are getting very close to this low level, and theoretically speaking, we're not technically out of this ascending trading channel until we hit a price around 37.5 or so. If we can close a candle lower than that, then I might say, all right, we've broken this trading channel. In fact, I want to see it stronger and potentially go all the way down to 37 even. However, if we don't come all the way down to 36.7 and the RSI doesn't get lower, we are going to be setting up what is hidden bullish RSI divergence, which is a continuation pattern to the upside. And I got like 10 seconds left. I would not be surprised if we actually end up bouncing off this level of support, going up one more time, hitting our head on the larger scale falling wedge before that dip down, as Jebb predicted, 30,000. Maybe it doesn't even have to go that low, maybe 33. That's my 3 minutes, though. That's what I had to say. Jebb, I'm going to throw it back to you.
Guys, thank you so very much for watching this show. Make sure you smash that like button is the first thing I want to say. We've got 700 likes. I know we can get to 1,000 in the next couple of minutes. If you're enjoying the broader market overview that Tim and I are doing, hit that like button and tune in 9:30 Eastern every single day, because this is the #1 show in cryptocurrency for technical analysis, on-chain analysis, and we love bringing you fundamental analysis too. Here is one final thing I want to say, and then I'm going to throw it to Kelly because he's got some analysis he wants to bring you as well. It is not a bad time to buy if you are an investor. I want to make sure you guys understand that. I do think that until I'm proven wrong, and I showed you how I'll be proven wrong if I'm proven wrong, that I believe that we're going to $30,000. That does not mean that you should necessarily wait to $30,000 to buy the dip if you are investing. Now, if you're a trader, you want to bet on the trend. The trend is bearish on the secondary. It is bullish on the tertiary. So keep that in mind. If you're a trader, I would say we're in a little bit of a precarious spot right now because Bitcoin's about to make a decision. Be very careful about what trade you enter. But if you're an investor, meaning you're going to hold for a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, now is not a bad time to buy Bitcoin. We're still down almost 50% from all-time high. And by the way, the best way to do that, in my opinion, is not by buying one lump sum. It's by buying every single week a consistent amount and dollar cost averaging in. That's what Michael Saylor of MicroStrategy is doing right now. They are continually buying 100 Bitcoin here, 500 Bitcoin here, 1,000 Bitcoin there, 700 Bitcoin here. I understand we don't all have 40 million bucks to drop every single paycheck, but what we do have is $100 here, or 50 bucks here, 20 bucks here. I encourage you to dollar cost average this bottom. If you haven't already set that up, you can do so on Coinbase. You can set up a recurring purchase over there. I did it for years. Through doing that, I dollar cost averaged through the bottom on Bitcoin. I managed to buy a bunch of Ethereum down there. I got Ethereum for 140 bucks. I got Bitcoin for $5,000-$6,000 that I still hold, up over 1,000% on both of those investments. And I was able to do that because I was setting up a recurring purchase. So don't worry about getting the exact bottom. Don't worry about getting exactly $30,000. In my opinion, I'm not your financial advisor. Please do not take this as financial advice. Get a financial advisor and get financial advice. It's very helpful. But in my opinion, the best thing you can do right now is set up a recurring purchase. Stop going out to Starbucks 5 days a week. Stop going out to the bar 5 days a week, and instead put 25 bucks into Bitcoin every single Friday. You'll be glad you did. Now, Kelly, I know you have a lot of very interesting cypher technical analysis and a little bit of other things you want to show us. So can you give us what your view is on this market at the moment, my friend?
Absolutely. And I can't agree more with what you just said, Jebb. When we're looking at, whether you're investing or trading, you want to look at a multitude of different timeframes to get both a short-term picture and a long-term picture. So with that being said, I can jump right on here. And I'm going to start here with the weekly, which I brought up yesterday, actually, showing that on the weekly market cipher, we're really keeping an eye here on the VWAP, which is this yellow oscillator that's going back and forth across this zero line here. And you can see every time the VWAP comes up and basically crosses back over the zero line with basically positive pressure, and the VWAP is basically the volume weighted average price. So that's basically how far it is away from basically what the market is saying is essentially fair market value based on that trading range you're looking in. So here on the weekly, you can see every time we cross back above the zero line, you get very strong positive price action coming out of it. So I'm only bringing this up to show the macro that we're basically right now setting up with the VWAP coming back up. It's still going to take probably several more days, if not a week or more. But when we cross this, we can expect, based on historical trends, that we are going to have very strong positive price action. But that being said, we're not quite there yet. So zooming in here on the 12-hour, I wanted to show here that we're basically still we're coming on a red dot right now showing momentum's coming down, but I do want you to notice that we have this very small wave here that's basically above the zero line on momentum. It comes down deep, but then here we get higher above the zero line and we come down, and we're growing momentum on the positive side within market cipher. Now, going back here to the weekly, I do want to show, because it's very easy to see this on this larger time frame, we have a lot of major trend time frames coming in here with resistance and supports. And you can see with this red square that I have right here highlighted, our price action is essentially fighting in a very highly contested area of price action. And so it's very important that we remain conservative in how we're entering trades or taking profits, entering or exiting the market right here if you're trading on the short term, because it's very choppy, it's very undecided on this. But exactly what Jebb just said, if you're a long-term trader, if you're making investments or DCAing, this is a perfect opportunity. You don't need to hit the exact bottom. We're setting up to have very strong price action and coming up very shortly. And that's also evident when we go over here on the Dixie. You can see the price action on the dollar index. We basically have been in this ascending wedge, and we've met resistance here and come back down. This is actually even shown directly when we're looking here at the S&P 500. Why am I looking at the S&P 500? Because we've seen lately that the crypto markets are unfortunately still very tied in correlation with the stock markets. And one of the things I want you to notice here is we are rallying on the S&P 500, but look at this Fibonacci retracement. We're basically rejecting right at where that golden pocket is at the 0.5, the 0.618, the 0.65 and the 0.618. So the market looks like it might be in due for another small correction, and that's right in line with what we're seeing on the smaller time frames with Bitcoin. And just to wrap up my segment here, I just wanted to show you here, we've also had massive take profits that have just basically taken place, and this is highly likely because 39K was a very strong resistance level, and there was likely a lot of sell orders and take profits in that area, but this was very significantly higher than we've seen in many months, and so that's obviously showing that there's some momentum behind the sentiment of not having enough conviction for higher price action. So that's what I'm seeing right now.
Sounds good. Well, Kelly, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Guys, how about Kelly tuning in from New York every single day? So very thankful for you, Kelly. You are an awesome guy. By the way, go follow Kelly on Twitter, @KellyKellam. I haven't plugged his Twitter in a while. KELLYKELLAM. Kelly's killing it over there on the technical analysis and fundamental and on-chain analysis, so thank you very, very much. Smay, I want to throw it to you for just a second. I want to get your take on everything. Then I'm going to show you something interesting over on CoinMarketCap. What do you think it's going to take for Bitcoin to get out of the turtle market, as you've called it, and then start moving into a proper uptrend?
Well, I've said it before. I think it's gonna take some serious encouragement from some kind of influential figure or some kind of catalyst. I think that's gonna take to be able to drive this price. But something I sent this article to Kelly. I sent this article to Tim, and I don't really want to dive into it too deeply. I want to, talk about this kind of strategically based off of, whatever. But the thing is, right now we're seeing now. It just came out here that the U.S. is going to be sending troops over to Ukraine here soon to try to deter the prospect of Russia invading, right? And that is going to cause a lot of... Sorry, I just touched the boom mic. I'm sorry, you guys keep calling me out on it. I'm not going to touch the mic.
He did it again. You hear that?
I'm not touching the mic.
He's doing it.
Leave Mike alone.
Leave Mike alone.
I'm not touching the mic.
Mike Markle in chat.
I'm not going to touch the mic. But anyways, what I was saying is there's going to be a lot of, I feel like in just the traditional markets and so on, there's going to be a lot of FUD because people are, I don't want to read from the article right now, but you guys can check out the article for yourself from Wall Street Journal. It's looking like right now it's 3,000 soldiers, but looks like they have about 8,000 ready to go. So this is something that a lot of people are going to start getting really scared and fudded with their investments. Maybe looking at potentially, it's not looking very, kind in between, the U.S. and Russia right now. So I'm not going to make any claims about it. I'm not going to make a political stance on it. I'm just going to say that I think that could be a catalyst for maybe going further to the downside rather than breaking out of this turtle market to the upside. So I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think you have some luscious hair, Smay.
Thank you.
I think you have some great hair. And your beard's coming in good. It's looking good, man. Well, no, I think Ukraine is... The situation with Ukraine and Russia is a very tricky one. Vladimir Putin has been in power for a very long time, and he really, really wants to maintain that. He really doesn't like the idea of being in charge of Russia after the Soviet Union fell. He wants to see Russia be a power player on the global stage. He wants it to become the next superpower up there with America and China, and there's a lot going on with Ukraine. We could go into it more in another stream, but there is definitely some FUD coming out about that. That is going to shake up financial markets. We've seen that news helping to drop the stock market, and I do think that it is having an impact on Bitcoin. But speaking of news, we're going to jump on over here to CoinMarketCap briefly. And I want to show you something here. If you go to CoinMarketCap, you can go down to Bitcoin, you can go over to news, and CoinMarketCap does a great job of aggregating some news. I just want to show you some of the things that are on this screen right here. Let's just read these headlines. Now, I want you to be careful about reading headlines because sometimes when you just read a headline, you only get a small snippet of the story, you don't get the whole picture, and you can start thinking, okay, Bitcoin is doing something or feeling something or experiencing something that it's not. So we're going to read headlines here for a very particular reason, but I do encourage you, if you have any questions or concerns about any of these articles, go and read them in their entirety. Bitcoin winning against all odds as ultra bullish BTC to 100K calls continue to gain vigor. Now, I want to point two things out. Number one, is this a bullish or a bearish article? Number two, is this fact or opinion? This is a bullish article because it's talking about ultra bullish Bitcoin at 100K, calls continue to gain vigor. This is a bullish article, and it's an opinion piece. If we scroll down a little bit, Grayscale launches ETF of Bitcoin exposed companies including PayPal and Coinbase. That's a really big deal. That is a fact-based article, but it is a very bullish sentiment article as well. So far we have a bullish sentiment and a bullish sentiment. We have an opinion piece and a fact piece. Colombia clamps down on crypto tax evasion as adoption thrives. The phrase adoption thrives tells us that this is a bullish article. Colombia clamps down on crypto tax evasion. That's just a fact. That's just a fact. Is all that is. Not an opinion piece, just a fact. MicroStrategy lost $146 million to Bitcoin impairment charges in Q4 2021. That's just a fact. Not really an opinion in the headline. It's a bearish fact, but it's a fact. We see the same article here twice. Not sure why it did that. El Salvador deploys 1,500 BTC ATMs, relaunches the Shiva wallet. Success could usher in a crypto revolution. This is a fact, but it is bullish, and it's also a little bit of opinion. Success could usher in a crypto revolution. Let's read two more here. Fidelity. BTC has the potential to be the primary monetary good. This is a fact that someone has an opinion, is what this article is. It's a fact that Fidelity said this. It is Fidelity's opinion, and it is bullish. We can also see to make Bitcoin legal tender, momentum grows. This is an opinion piece, but it is bullish. So we just looked at about 7 to 10 different articles. Only one of them is bearish. About half of them are opinion, about half of them are fact. Now, what I want to get at here is, what is the sentiment in the space right now? The news, as far as cryptocurrency news, actually seems to be relatively bullish. So I want to throw it to Kelly here. Kelly, what do you make of the sentiment in the space right now? And are there any other stories that you're seeing that are really jumping out at you?
Well, I think the sentiment of in the entire space right now, and not only in crypto, but in the economy at large, is one of frustration. You know, there's impatience, which I think is funny because there's so much time that the people that have made millions in the crypto market specifically that have put in, and it might seem like it's happened overnight. So people hop in and they think they're going to immediately be a millionaire like the guy that invested in 2011. Well, what's the difference between now and 2011? Well, 11 years, right? So all I can say there is everybody just keep your head down, as you said, DCA, and watch the charts as the how would you say it, the ebbs and flow of the market. And I can even pull up this metric really quick before I hop into into those news stories. But where we're at right now in the cycle, you can see we're still playing out very similar market structure, market cycles, having resistance at the 0.618, in a correction phase like we were here, same thing here. It's just the cycles are starting to become longer and longer. So it feels like it's not relevant anymore, when in reality it is. Now, going from that, jumping into one of the headlines I wanted to read here, because there are a lot of opinion pieces. So I wanted to go over there's yet another ETF that is being delayed. It's the Bitwise ETF. And interestingly here, they're actually being asked for clarity on some stuff. So it looks like there might be a small window of opportunity that there might be a little higher likelihood here. But one of the things I wanted to point out here, which it exemplifies that sense of frustration, is this right here. Needless to say, this did cause a sense of frustration amongst the crypto community, including congressmen. In an interview, Tom Emmer hit back the SEC chair Gary Gensler over a BTC spot debate. He said, he once said that what Gensler is doing is intentional, not ignorant. And I'd have to agree with that, because there's so much data around everything that's going on within the space, whether there's laundering, whether there's illegality, or any of these things that have marred the sort of social sentiment and general widespread adoption amongst the layman, or at this point, the ignorant of crypto. And I think within these large financial players like Gary Gensler and, even Janet Yellen, who seems to be a staunch opponent of crypto for some reason. I guess they don't want transparency on what they're spending their money on, right? So this just sort of exemplifies that. And then the next thing I'll bring up here, and this is one of those things. This is speculative, but this highlights your point about the opinions in the market. But this actually is based on some fact. This is there's so growing understanding or awareness that, especially with the market right now, with the tight squeeze that we're in, and you can even see it on, where actually I don't want to zoom in on my chart, but you can see it on the smaller time frames. We're in a very, very tight ascending triangle or ascending channel, however you want to draw it. And we're literally at the point of breakout. And a lot of people misunderstand what the concept of breakout means. Breakout doesn't mean it's going to moon. Breakout means it's breaking structure. Are we going to break up? Or are we going to break down? I think we'll probably do a bit of both, and we'll be shaking those people off further as we have. But to wrap that sort of portion up and throw it right back to you, I do wanted to show you this chart here from Blake, which you can find him on right here on Twitter. And this is very important when we're looking at not only the news sentiment, but also looking into the market. There's a lot of orders that have been in liquidity, essentially, that are plugged into the market on order books, both above and below us. And the price has basically been oscillating between those two zones. And in terms of hope and safety, I do want to emphasize here that we do still have very heavy buy orders all the way down to 28. So even if we do dip down, I don't think that there's going to be this massive wick that's going to go down to 24, down to 20, like some people are saying. I do think we're going to be holding around that level, and it's all kind of in confluence with what's going on in the market, and we're just shaking things out, and what's going on with the stuff geopolitically. That's just further reluctance in the market. It's going to add to that, and I'm curious what your thoughts are on that and how that's going to play into what's happening actually on the charts.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's very important that we pay close attention to what's going on geopolitically, as well as having to do with monetary policy in the United States, because it can be very tempting just to look at technical analysis. And I've taught you guys for a very long time, the limitations of technical analysis are one of the most important things that you can understand about technical analysis. If you think that technical analysis is going to show you everything, you're dead wrong. That's not the purpose of TA. The purpose of TA is to figure out what people are thinking so you can understand the trades that they may make, so that you can understand how they will manipulate the market, so you can understand where the market is going to go, so that you can trade those movements. You might want to watch that 2 or 3 times, because that's the definition of technical analysis. But actually, I'll take that back. That's the definition of market analysis. Technical analysis is doing all of that using price action. You can do the exact same thing in fundamental analysis. You can do the exact same thing in on-chain analysis. You can look at metrics to get an idea of what people are thinking, to understand how they may trade, to understand how they may affect the price, so you can understand how to best trade that price. Again, might want to watch that twice. That is the crux of what analysis, what market analysis is. Now, what we need to do is we need to look at everything that's affecting the price. Technicals affect the price. On-chain affects the price. I guarantee you that this Russia and Ukraine news is affecting the price. We know it's affecting the price in the stock market. So yes, it is having a big impact. The question is, how big of an impact? I actually don't think it's having as big of an impact as some people might think. I think crypto is largely not largely, it's a little bit more detached from the rest of the world than it might have been 6 months ago, when we had a lot of retail and a lot of institutions jumping in the space. Right now we do have retail and institutions in the space, but the vast majority of the market movements going on right now are actually coming from people within the space. They're coming from the whales. They're coming from some retail. What we're seeing right now is a lot of the major corporations and institutional investors that are investing with other people's money, so I'm talking about brokerages, they are in a risk-off phase right now. There's a lot of FUD in the traditional markets. There's a lot of fear around the economy and financial and monetary policy from the Fed. So they're not trying to take a bunch of risk right now. A lot of people are setting their IRAs and their 401ks and everything to low risk at the moment. And that means the brokerages are saying, okay, well, if they're going low risk, then we're going to say no Bitcoin, because we perceive Bitcoin as high risk. So the brokerages are not getting into Bitcoin right now the way that they were. With all of that said, Bitcoin is still setting up for a major resurgence in price action, because as soon as it does have a confirmed uptrend, which we've talked about earlier on in the stream, how we will confirm that uptrend, then you're going to see a ton of retail flowing into the space. When we see Bitcoin getting up to 45, 50, 55, 60, you are going to see an inflow of money into this space, the likes of which you've never seen, and we're going to see crypto hit a $5 trillion market capitalization for the first time in history. That is all going to be predicated on the idea of an uptrend starting. It has not done that yet. I just want to be clear on that. Now, one thing I also want to mention, this is a little bit more topical at the moment. We did see this drop happen just a few minutes ago over on Bitcoin. You guys know earlier on in this stream, Bitcoin had a pretty major drop from about 38,400 down in the span of 2 minutes, down $800 down to 3760. Not something to be worried about. As I told you guys, I still think we're going down to 30K, so this kind of makes sense. But we did drop $1,200 in 2 hours, and some people are wondering how that happened. Well, what happened is exactly, and I'm not trying to pat myself on the back here, I've just seen this happen many times. It's exactly what I told you was going to happen yesterday, and I told you it was going to happen the day before yesterday. What a lot of people are doing right now is exactly what they did here and here. They entered long positions thinking, oh man, we're out of the downtrend. I'm going to go into an up, I'm going to long, and I'm going to make money, and this happens every single time. They went on a leverage trade. They went 5, 10, 25x leverage. We're going into an uptrend. We broke this one technical indicator. Yay, we're doing great. That's not what happened. Then we saw the same thing happen here. People went into longs. Well, let's take a look at these dates here. December 28th is the day that this downtrend started. January 20th. So December 28th, January 20th. Let's look here over on a website called coinglass.com/liquidation data. Well, January 20th, we saw $1 billion in longs getting liquidated. Back over here on December 28th, was it? I believe that was the day we're looking at, December 28th and 27th. We saw $500 million of longs liquidated, then $250 million of longs liquidated the next day. What we're seeing happen right now is the same thing on a smaller time scale. We have just seen about, I want to say about $40 million in longs getting liquidated. The reason that happened is because people did the exact same thing here that they did over here, that they did over here. They went into long positions. The market was not ready. They got long squeezed. I want to encourage you to not do that. That's why I am showing you, okay, here's the 4 major things I want to see before I confirm a secondary uptrend. Not one of them has happened yet. Not one of them. The trend is your friend until it ends. What's the trend? It's down. If you're in a long position right now, you need to ask yourself a very, very honest question. Am I fully confident? Not fully. You can never be fully confident. Am I extremely confident that Bitcoin is about to go into a strong uptrend? And do I have a conservative stop loss in play? Because if you're in a long position right now, especially if you're in a leverage trade, you need to be careful because we are not in an uptrend. We're in a tertiary uptrend, but we're in a secondary downtrend. If you are trying to trade as if we're in a secondary uptrend when we're not, you're going to get yourself burned, and that's what these $40 million worth of liquidations just had happen to them. The reason that I come at you every single day and show you the technical analysis and the on-chain and the fundamentals and the liquidations is because I don't want you to be part of that crowd that's getting liquidated. What that liquidation shows us is that people, is that there's still retail and that there's still somewhat immature money in the space that desperately wants an uptrend, and the whales are saying, oh, that's funny. That's real funny. I'm going to liquidate you, and then it's going to drop, and I'm going to buy in on a discount because you went long too early. That's what the whales are thinking right now. You got to play chess, not checkers, guys. This is not as simple as it looks. I've been in the space for 5 years, and I've made all of these mistakes many times. I've made all of them. I've gone long at the wrong time so many times. And that's why I'm telling you guys this stuff, because I don't want you to do the same. So be careful about entering a long position right now. We have not confirmed an uptrend. With that said, guys, we're about to jump into our next segment. Before we do, I want to bring you a word from our sponsor, which today our sponsor is actually TradingView. It's the software that I am showing you. I have been using TradingView every single day since the day I got into cryptocurrency on July 31st, 2017. I've been using TradingView every single day that I've looked at Bitcoin ever since. It's a phenomenal charting software, leaps and bounds above any of its competitors. It doesn't even really have any, to be honest with you, other than the charting software on exchanges. And by the way, most exchanges actually just embed TradingView onto their exchange. It is a phenomenal software. It is top of the line, but to get all of its functionality, because, you know, TradingView is a company, they got to make money, there are paid versions of the account. So if you have a free version of TradingView, you're only going to get to have 3 indicators. You can see on my screen, if we jump back to my screen, I currently have, I believe, 10 indicators up. I have MACD, RSI, Market Cypher B, Lux Algo, Lux Oscillator, Lux Algo, TD Sequential, VPVR, Market Cypher, DBSI, Bollinger Bands, and Volume. I have 10 indicators up right now. To get access to more than 3 indicators and to get access to a ton of other features, such as having 25 indicators per chart, such as having 8 indicators in one layout, such as having 400 server-side alerts, unlimited saved charts layout, seconds-based intervals, which you can see, you can go down on the seconds time frame right here. You need to have a TradingView Premium account. You can sign up for TradingView Premium with the link in the description box down below. And by the way, a little known feature that people don't realize is there is that if you are not on the premium version of TradingView, you can actually only look back on 5,000 candle bars. So if we're on the hourly chart right here, you can see I do have a paid version of the TradingView account, so I can go back farther than you might be able to with a free account. But if you're on the free account, you can only go back 5,000 candlesticks, so that'd be 5,000 hours or 5,000 days. With the premium version of TradingView, you can see it stops right here in 2020. I can't see hourly chart data beyond that. If you get TradingView Premium, you're going to be able to see 20,000 candlesticks instead of just 5,000 candlesticks. So there's a ton of functionality that comes with a paid version of TradingView, and if you sign up with the link in the description box down below, not only will you be getting access to a phenomenal charting software, and you're going to get all of its functionality, all of its features. If you make one better trade a month because you have TradingView Premium, then it paid for itself. You're also going to be helping to support this channel. So sign up with the link in the description box down below. What we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and go into our intermission. We're going to check in with the chat. We're going to read what you guys are saying. And by the way, one final thing on the TradingView thing, if you want to get Market Cypher, if you want to get Lux Algo, you do have to have a paid version of TradingView. So that's another reason to get a paid version of TradingView. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Tim, we'll throw it over to you. Stay tuned for Ethereum snapshots and a Bitcoin snapshot to wrap up the stream here in a few minutes.
Can we jump just for real briefly into just a breaking news article that popped up?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just going to go to my screen real quick. Apparently, Grayscale and Bloomberg are launching its first equity ETF, and this is directly related to crypto and the digital economy. And I think this, while this isn't a strictly Bitcoin ETF, I think it's these sorts of small pieces of the puzzle that start to add up, that start to show the strength on the institutional side and the institutional involvement in the crypto markets, because it allows for industries and industry. what am I trying to say here? Traditional market players and institutions, as well as individual people, individual entities, to invest in basically this, this exchange traded fund, while getting crypto exposure without being directly involved with buying Bitcoin or Ethereum, or so it's yet another access point for people to have exposure to crypto. And I think it'll be interesting to see how this plays out and which sort of different partners and industries that this will be directly tied to. I'm curious your thoughts on this, Jebb.
Yeah, that's absolutely very important. And the reason is because it will allow traditional players that are in the stock market and the equities markets to be able to buy into companies that are buying and selling working in the cryptocurrency market. It actually specifies in the article, I have it up right here as well. The fund does not contain shares of company like Tesla or MicroStrategy that simply hold Bitcoin on their balance sheet or accept it as payments. It actually is using a composite of companies that work in the cryptocurrency space. So PayPal is going to be a composite part of it. Block, I believe that's BlockFi. They're talking. Excuse me, it's not BlockFi. Coinbase Global, Silvergate Capital Corp, Argo Blockchain, Plus 500 Ltd. There's a lot of companies in there that work in the cryptocurrency markets, 25 publicly companies that are deeply committed to cryptocurrency. This is going to allow people to invest in the cryptocurrency sector. This is something that, to my knowledge, we haven't really had the ability to do so in the traditional markets, at least not to the fullest extent. So now that's going to allow traditional players to invest in cryptocurrency companies in one basket. That's a very big deal. And absolutely, that is one of the pieces of the puzzle for longer-term adoption of crypto. So let's go ahead and jump into some community discussion here, and we'll move on to Ethereum here in about 5 or so minutes.
Yeah, we have a question here from OMAC. When do you think the supply shock, more demand for Bitcoin versus what is on the exchanges, will happen, and what type of price surges would we see?
Yeah, great question. So you got to look at the price as a factor of supply and demand. So right now, the demand of Bitcoin, the supply of Bitcoin is at an all-time low. The amount of people that are hodling Bitcoin for more than 155 days, this is a metric that's put together by the data analysts over at Glassnode, is roughly, and Kelly, correct me if I'm wrong, I want to say it's about 84% right now. Long-term holding of Bitcoin is at roughly 84%, which means the liquid, quote-unquote, supply of Bitcoin is around 16%. That is one of the lowest levels that we've been at in a very long time. So the supply is very low on Bitcoin right now. It's actually remarkably low. The question now then is the demand. If the supply is very low, but the demand is also low, then the price is going to be low. But if the supply is low and the demand goes up, then the price is going to go up. So people are talking about a supply shock. The supply shock has technically already happened. The supply is extremely low. We actually don't need to worry about the supply. That's already where it needs to be. What we need to pay attention to is the demand. Is the demand there right now? It's not. And the reason it's not is because the sentiment is very bearish. That's why I say if we're able to break 42K and we're able to see those 4 things I talked about earlier, Lux Algo having a bullish cross, MACD, the 20 simple moving average breaking $42,000, and also RSI. If we put all of those pieces together and we go into a sustained uptrend, that is going to very quickly flip the sentiment. You're going to get billions of dollars of longs going on leverage. And in that case, they probably won't get liquidated. They'll probably be fulfilled and people will make a lot of money and we'll go in an uptrend. And that's why I say if all of those things happen, I would expect an all-time high within 3 to 6 months. That being said, it hasn't happened yet. So the demand's in a great place. The supply is in a great place. The demand isn't there yet. But what that means is that we are extremely well positioned for a massive, very fast uptrend if and when we do finally see that demand come back into the space. That's why we're paying so close attention to the sentiment. Phenomenal question.
Terran Crypto said, Jebb, Bitcoin has historically spent very little time below the 400 EMA on the daily. I'm bullish AF that we will come back to that sooner rather than later.
400 EMA on the daily. I must admit, I haven't looked at the 400 EMA in a long time. I have looked at it before, but I haven't looked at it in a very long time. Let's go ahead and pull it up right here. 400 DEMA is pretty much the exact same. It pretty much shows the exact same thing. Just off the top of my head, I'm looking at this. It pretty much shows the exact same thing that the weekly 200 simple moving average would be, I believe. I forget exactly what moving average this looks like, but you're right. We typically don't spend much time below it. Even when we do, we end up bouncing back above it. And the thing I like about moving averages like this is it reminds us of something called the underlying intrinsic value of Bitcoin. Bitcoin right now is below this moving average, and in fact, it's one of the ones that was telling us, hey, $42,000 is an important level of support. As you can see, we bounced off of it here. We kind of bounced off of it here. We pulled below it here and rallied. As far as this moving average is concerned, it tells us, hey, we're starting to get oversold. We're starting to move too far to the downside. The same thing is said with this long-term uptrending level of support and resistance that we've talked about. Right now, Bitcoin is oversold, in my opinion. The fundamentals and the intrinsics are doing remarkably well, and this is just another metric that tells us that we are lower than we really should be. But and by the way, this is important, we can stay oversold for 18 months. It's called a bear market. That doesn't mean that we're out of the woods tomorrow, but it does mean that we are in a good place to be buying generally.
Yeah. Let's see here. We had one that's not even a super chat, but Nick Flip, FLP, said thoughts on the averages. So that's kind of following up. What are your thoughts on what we're seeing with the averages right now?
The averages are telling us that we're in a downtrend. That's the reason I haven't showed them that much, is because the averages tell us that we're in a downtrend, and pretty much all of them show that we need to have a break above certain levels, such as 38, 39, and 42. And if we're able to break those things, then we're going to do well. That's pretty much what I'm seeing right now on the moving averages, pretty much all of them. We actually did talk about the 20 daily simple moving average earlier, how it gives us resistance at 38.5. We need to break that. So we've looked at them a little bit, but yeah, that's my take on them.
Gotcha. Daniel Bridges says, why don't you compare to previous charts that much?
Previous charts in what way? I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I think just talking about previous trends, which I think we do.
Yeah, so that's what's known as historical analysis. So remember, we've talked about the different types of analysis. We have technical analysis, fundamental analysis, on-chain analysis, news analysis. Historical analysis is another one. We look at what a technical indicator or what a news article does in the past. We can do historical analysis on technicals, on fundamentals, on-chain, on news, on geopolitics, on anything. Historical analysis is the act of looking back to look forward. That's the best definition I've been able to come up with for what is known as historical analysis. We do historical analysis every single day. I've shown you guys many times, in fact, in this stream, about how over the last year, every time we have a bullish MACD cross on the 3 daily chart, then we go into an uptrend. How every single time we break above the 14-day simple moving average on the 3 daily chart RSI, we go into an uptrend. All of that is historical analysis, so we do try to do that every single day. We just might not call it that, but that is what we're doing.
Yeah,
very important.
Let's see here. We have George B. Just wanted to say bullish on Bitcoin.
Bullish on Bitcoin, as opposed to George A?
And then
George A?
Yeah, I don't know where George A is.
I don't know.
We do have a new member. We have a new Jebb Padawan,
Woo!
BC Reviews 51. So
hey.
Welcome, BC Reviews. So glad to have you here.
Welcome.
What I want to do as we close out this chat, and I won't be able to ask one specific question, but chat is ultimately really discussing this right now. And I think it would be good, Jebb, go in depth on what you think here. You've said it already, but I want to keep it clean in case someone missed it. What do you believe? Because some people think that we're going up from here. Some think the bottom's already in. Are we going to set a new bottom? What is your opinion on what the bottom's going to be? We have a lot of opinions in chat saying that we have downwards to go. Some people don't even think 30 is the bottom. Some people think we go lower than that. What is your opinion on the bottom?
Yeah, so my opinion is that every prediction I make and every prediction that we make should be in the form of an if-then statement. So here are my two opinions based on what could happen, and I'll tell you which one I lean more towards. That is the responsible way of me telling you a price prediction. I just want to be clear. It's not responsible for me to say, it's going to $100,000 on July 31st. That is a bad idea for me to do, because what I should remind you of is that there are probabilities. If X, Y, and Z happen, then there's a 30% chance that we go to 100K. It's an if-then-that statement, actually. If X, Y, and Z happen, then X, Y, and Z will happen, and that will cause X, Y, and Z to happen. So my two if-then statements. If Bitcoin breaks bullish on the 3 daily chart MACD, and if we break the 14-day moving average on the 3 daily chart for RSI, and if we break the longer-term downtrend, and if we break $42,000 on 3 daily chart, then we'll go back to all-time high in the next 3 to 6 months. That's my opinion, and that the bottom would have been in at 33K. If, however, Bitcoin does not do those 4 things, and it fails to do a single one of them, then I believe that Bitcoin's going to go to $30,000 and is going to bottom out down there.
Good. That's oh, yeah, a nice sneeze.
Yeah, I know. I was holding it until I finished saying that.
Yeah, I think we can transition to the next segment.
Cool. Well, we're going to go ahead and move into Ethereum here, guys. We're going to run through ETH pretty quickly, guys, because ETH is looking very similar to Bitcoin. And after that, we're going to go into a quick snapshot on Quant, Cadena, and DOT. So stay tuned for some of your favorite altcoin analysis. Right now, Ethereum is in a major downtrend, has been since it hit about $5,000, $4,800 on the 10th of November, and it has dropped 56% to a low of $2,200. So let me run through what my if-then statement is there on Ethereum. Everybody who is a programmer is saying, oh, if-then statements, I love those. That's exactly what I'm talking about. It's an if-then statement. If Ethereum breaks $2,800, if Ethereum breaks this downtrend right here, if Ethereum out on the 3 daily chart has a bullish MACD cross, and if Ethereum on the 3 daily chart manages to break above the 14-day moving average, then, not before, then the bullish MACD convergence, divergence that we're seeing right here, and the bullish RSI divergence that we're seeing right here will come into effect, and we will see Ethereum rally to all-time high in the next 3 to 6 months. That's why I say that Ethereum and Bitcoin look very similar right now on the macro scale. They have different things going on down on the daily chart. They have different things going down on the shorter-term time frame. But frankly, I'm not doing trading for 12 hours a day. That's not my specialty. My specialty is to help you guys figure out where the market's going in the next 2 days to the next 2 to 3 months. That's really where I thrive as an analyst. So if Ethereum does everything I just said, breaks this moving average on the 3 daily chart RSI, has a bullish cross on the 3 daily chart MACD, breaks above $2,800, breaks above this downtrend. If it does all of that, then it will go back to all-time high in the next 3 to 6 months. But if Bitcoin fails to break to the upside and do what it's doing, and if Ethereum fails to have a bullish MACD cross, if it fails to break above this moving average on the RSI, if it fails to do all of that, then Ethereum will pull back down to $1,800 and it will follow suit with Bitcoin going down to $30,000. That is my if-then statement on Ethereum. Tim, though, I would love your opinion on this. It's actually very simple what I think about Ethereum right now. What do you think about this project and its price?
I'm looking at it right now. It is, as we've talked about the last couple of days, it is very similar to what's happening on Bitcoin, but there are some differences. And what I'm going to do is, you talked about more long time frame stuff. What I want to show is on the hourly chart. And if you want to go to my chart real quick, Smay, I'm going to show you guys just one thing when it comes to divergence. You see this red line ascending right here. That is the uptick in price action. We are going up. This downtick that we're currently seeing, I just would not be surprised for us to come all the way down to this level, but then that's it. And the reason why is, look at this flat level right here on our RSI. We had this level on the hourly chart back on the 27th of January. We had it right here on the 30th of January. And now it looks like we're approaching that level again. Could we break below it? Absolutely. But what we are setting up, and again, this is the flip side. We're talking about bearish divergence. What we're setting up is what we call medium bullish RSI divergence. It's a continuation pattern. We are currently in an uptrend, meaning our lows keep getting lower, our highs keep getting higher until we set a new lower low, meaning until we actually have one of these dips come down below 2,500, we are still in an uptrend. So it's one of those things. We can call it, if your opinion is the uptrend is over and we're going to the downside, great, that's your opinion. But as of right now, we are still in an uptrend. And what I'm seeing on this RSI on the hourly chart is actually the metrics showing that we're going to be having a continuation pattern. We're going to have that medium bullish RSI divergence. And I just would not be surprised to see us bounce right around this ascending level of support, continue to the upside. I'm not saying we're going to all-time high. I do think we're setting things up for here in the next couple of days to actually break this uptrend and go back down to the downside. Ethereum, I just would not be surprised for us to get back down to levels of around 2,200. I know we've talked about 1,750. I've said before, I think 1,750 on Ethereum is correlated to if Bitcoin hits 25. I don't think that's happening. I think that more realistically, Bitcoin's going to around 30 to 32,000. Ethereum between 22 to 2,000 is my thoughts on the chart.
Boom. Well, there you go, guys. We're going to go ahead and move on now into Quant, because this is a cryptocurrency that you guys keep asking us for. We love showing you guys analysis on cryptos that you are asking for. Quant right now is trading at $110, ranked 68 almost on CoinMarketCap, and is currently sitting at $1.3 billion in market capitalization. Over on its price, we can see that Quant rallied all the way up to $433 before dropping down to 85. It is currently, it pulled back in total 80%, and at the moment it is down 74% from all-time high. If we take a look at some of its technical indicators, we're going to find some interesting things. Number one, here on the 3 daily chart, we're actually in a very similar position that Ethereum is in. We want to see a 3 daily chart MACD cross bullish, and we also want to see a 3 daily chart RSI 14-day moving average cross bullish. Let me break that down again. We want to see a bullish MACD cross, and we want to see RSI break this trend line. That is, in simple terms, what we're looking for. Exact same thing we're looking for on ETH. Over the last 3 days, it's actually had a pretty strong bottom. Quant has responded very, very well to the bottoming formations that we are seeing on ETH and Bitcoin. And this is just another example of how the altcoins follow Bitcoin. It's actually up 14% today. It's the biggest gainer in the last 24 hours. Speaking of the last hours, if we look at the last hour, we can see that it actually rallied 13%, $14 in the span of just 1 hour. And it did have a pretty large drop following that. This rally that has been in effect since January 31st, so the last 2 days, is actually pretty strong. It's actually very encouraging as well, because Quant was in a falling wedge right here. Actually, you might call it a falling triangle pattern, and it's since broken bullish out of that with a lot of confirmation. So I'm actually pretty excited for everybody who's holding Quant. It looks pretty solid. Looking down here on the daily chart as well, we can see that we have a buy signal. Trend catcher, I can almost guarantee you, is green, although it might not be yet. Trend catcher is turning green. It just did 2 days ago. Now we just want to see bullish trend catcher, and then it's going to end up moving to the upside. That is what Lux Algo is saying. So this market right now actually looks pretty good. What I will encourage you to remember is that Quant has done this before, had a confirmed buy signal, and it traded sideways. Lux Algo is a phenomenal indicator, but it's not perfect, and Lux Algo can't take into account everything that's happening on the fundamentals. So pay very close attention to the fundamental analysis on Quant, the development of it, the adoption of it, and the way that the space is growing, the development team, the leadership, the news, all of that, because it's going to play a huge role in this market. But at the moment, the price action looks like it is set up pretty well. I would give this another 3 to 7 days before you start betting that it's going to go into an uptrend, though. Even though we do have a buy signal on Lux Algo, just like I said on Bitcoin, I would give this 7 to 10 days to really let itself confirm an uptrend before you get overly exuberant. It's very easy to say, okay, I'm going to buy the bottom. I'm going to go into an uptrend. I'm going to long it for a week. I'm going to close it. I'm going to be up 500%. Because I'm on 50x leverage and it went up 10%. Be careful with that mentality. You really want to wait to have a more confirmed uptrend. It is worth the wait. I'm serious, guys. It is so worth the wait to give time for that market to confirm itself. So that's my opinion on that. Moving on to Kadena. This is another project you guys are asking a lot about, KDA. It is ranked number 82 and sitting just under $1 billion in market capitalization. This is a layer 1 protocol that we've talked about on the channel before. They are attempting to build something with a fixed maximum supply of a billion coins, and it is trying to do be a store of value among other things, as well as the developmental cryptocurrency. But what we're seeing right now is actually pretty interesting. On the daily chart, it is in a downtrend according to Lux Algo and has been for some time, but it actually also just broke below $7 down here to $5.68. Its chart looks remarkably similar to Bitcoin in the fact that it has had a drop, but over the last several days, the last week or so, it's having a weak uptrend. It's not a very strong uptrend, but it is definitely an uptrend. We see the same thing happening on Bitcoin, weak uptrend, but it is still there. Kadena at the moment looks almost identical. These two markets are very similar. What we're seeing with Kadena right now is it is in a falling bear flag, or just a bear flag we would call it, and that bear flag would give it a price target down here of $2.70. That actually would make some sense, no pun intended, because the previous high was at $2.50. So if Kadena does have a drop, you could expect it to pull all the way back down to $2.50. And to be honest with you guys, with the way that the project of Kadena is, it's probably going to need to have a very strong bull market in Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto markets for it to go into an uptrend. I have a feeling that anybody who would invest in Kadena right now, if Bitcoin and Ethereum and Cardano and AVAX and some of these other bigger projects go into an uptrend, they're probably going to just invest in those instead of KDA. Not knocking the project, seems like a pretty solid project, but I think this is one that would thrive during an alt season, not so much in an uncertain season, a turtle market like we're in right now. So I would be careful about buying the dip on this one. I would wait quite a bit for the cryptocurrency market to really start a major recovery. Now, taking a look at DOT, we have some interesting things showing up here. We did have this uptrend on Polkadot right there. That uptrend has since been invalidated, but it's also been updated. You can see we can just shift that uptrend a little bit, connect these two highs over here to this bottom, connect this bottom here, and then now we have an uptrend on Polkadot. Polkadot is a cryptocurrency that has phenomenal technical indicators. It is the leader in layer 0 interoperability protocols, and basically what that jargon means is that it is the leading cryptocurrency that brings together other cryptocurrencies. It's almost like how online you have, there's probably 20 billion internet-connected devices in the world. There are protocols that bring all of those devices together so that they can work together. That's what Polkadot does. It brings together all of these different blockchains, which are basically just digital computers, and helps them to interact with each other. It's a great project, and it's currently sitting at $20 billion market capitalization, and I do believe it deserves that. As far as the price action is concerned, it has retraced from $55 down 70%. To a local low of $17. At the moment, it is looking like it is in a small bear flag as well, and that could lead it to go into a drop. If it did, its price target would be about $11, which would be the previous bottom down here. So that would make a lot of sense. A drop down to $10 to $11 is in the cards. That's our previous low back in July and also back here in January. I would, however, be very surprised to see Polkadot go below $10. Could it go down another 50% to $10? Absolutely, it could. In fact, it'd probably be healthy for it too, because it just needs a reset, just like the rest of the cryptocurrency markets. But frankly, I don't see it going below $10. If it does go down to $10, that's a great buying opportunity. If you're looking to get into Polkadot, I don't think it's too early to start dollar cost averaging. If you buy at $20 and you're planning on holding these purchases for a year, 2 years, 3 years, you're going to see a return. I do believe Polkadot will be well over $100 at some point in the future with the way its fundamentals are going. However, it could need to drop down to $10 first. So there's nothing wrong with setting up a recurring purchase, buying here and here and here and here and here and here and here, and then dollar cost averaging the bottom. And as it goes up later on in the year, along with the rest of the crypto markets, or maybe it goes up the next year and we go into a prolonged downtrend, whatever happens, Polkadot is a good project to hold long term, in my opinion, and dollar cost averaging it, I do not think is a bad idea. With that said, we're going to go ahead and read some super chats. We're going to jump into some discussion. Tim, take it away, my friend.
Yeah, I don't think we have that many chats here, so I'll read the. We have one. I mean, unless one just popped up. But Freelancer said after the ADAX DEX release Sunday, there has been large sell-off. Was this the buy the rumor, sell the news, or losing confidence in the project?
I would love Kelly to answer that also, but I would say I think it's a buy the rumor, sell the news kind of thing. Launching the DEX does not mean that there's 100,000 users on the DEX. It just means that it's launched and it's ready to go. I don't know why this is the first thing that came to mind. When Minecraft launched in 2012, it was in alpha for all that time. When nothing changed. Literally nothing changed. It was just an update. Nothing changed. The valuation of that game did not change whatsoever. It didn't get a bunch of new users. Looking back on it 10 years later, we say, oh, wow, that was a pivotal moment in the history of that game. At the moment, it didn't really mean anything. Once it finally left beta and went into full release, it didn't really mean anything. Historically, we look back on and we're like, oh, that was an inflection point. That was a turning point over the next 10 years. That was actually very important. At the time, though, it didn't really mean a whole lot. So yeah, I think it was a buy the rumor, sell the news kind of thing. ADAX is going to need some time to really grow to become the #1 decentralized exchange on Cardano, and it will get there. Kelly, I'd love your thoughts on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really appreciate this question because specifically we have talked about it on the channel. So I think it bears some responsibility on our part to update you all and give you the rundown of what's really going on. There's been an unnecessary amount of coordinated FUD around ADAX, which all has been dispelled. One of the questions was whether or not the project itself was dumping their coins, and they've very transparently posted all their wallets showing the tens of millions of coins that they haven't moved at all. They're sitting there. In addition to that, what I find very confidence building and inspiring looking to the future with ADAX is the fact that they've even announced on their Twitter, and I actually shared it on my page as well. It's this right here. They're actually coming out already within essentially a week of launching. They're coming out with their version 1.1, which I find very phenomenal, because what they've done is they launched and then they had all their devs essentially watching their Telegram group and different private channels to see what suggestions users were having so that they could make sure that they provided the best user experience. Where there's some small errors here and there, yes, but that's with any project anywhere ever, and they're addressing all those concerns. And the last thing I will say about it that I think is a bit confusing to people is one of the things right now that is they have batch orders that are set to where there's certain amounts that you have to trade on, and for some people that's discouraging. But when I basically got a direct line with one of the developers there, and basically what they said was one of the things they wanted to address specifically with this DEX is the fact that so many of these DEXs are running at huge delays. Sunday Swap's a case in point. There's huge controversy around them because there's some transactions taking 48, 72, 96 hours for one transaction. And so what they've done initially, until Cardano starts to scale with their Hydra and other sorts of methods that Cardano will do, is they've batched their orders to make sure that people are doing larger batches. So there's fewer orders. It basically speeds up and reduces congestion. In addition to the fact that they've launched 100 or more nodes privately through the ADAX team to also prevent any congestion on the UI, on the back end itself within ADAX. So the fact that they're coming out with this version 1.1, I think if I'm not mistaken, it should be happening sometime by the end of this week, addressing all these different concerns people have talked about. And I mean, all I can say is buy the rumor, sell the news.
Yeah.
People are getting shaken out. So just be patient and look to the future.
What I can say on that is that this is a classic example of what goes on with anything in the Cardano ecosystem. Cardano is a cryptocurrency that tries to do things right rather than fast. They want quality, they want speed, but they want quality more. They don't want to launch something and then have to do a chain rollback. They don't want to have to go in and in a centralized manner roll back the chain. They don't want to do that. They want to build it correctly the first time, and that's what ADAX is trying to do. But what that comes with is the fact that roadmaps don't always get hit. Deadlines don't always get hit, because guess what? Blockchain technology is a decade old, and nobody knows what the hell they're doing. It takes time to figure this stuff out, and that's okay. Did you know that the internet is still experimental? It's been around since 1969 when ARPANET came online with 3 nodes. By the way, if you didn't know, the first 3 letters that ever went through the internet were LOL because they tried to type login. The system crashed after the first 2 letters, then they typed login again, so the first 3 letters over the internet were LOL. The internet has been around for over 50 years now, and it's still experimental. Blockchain is the same way. It takes time to develop these things. ADAX is just another example of something that takes time to develop. So let's not get impatient. Let's not, lean too much on the instant gratification mindset of, oh, ADAX is supposed to be $100 by now. No. In 3 years, it might be $100. Are you willing to wait that long? If not, then it's not the project for you. But if you want to invest in the long run in something that could potentially become the largest DEX on the Cardano ecosystem, then you absolutely should be looking at ADAX. We don't have any affiliation with them. Just so you know, if you're new here and you've never heard me say this, we literally never take coin sponsorships. We've been offered many times. We turn down every single one of them because we want to maintain your trust and maintain our integrity. By the way, we have a very good question here that I'm going to lead into a teaching point. Andrew Serrano just super chatted $5, said, how do I buy ADAX? Here's what I want you to do. Go to my screen. We're going to go on over to CoinMarketCap together. We're going to figure this out. Here's how you find a place to buy a cryptocurrency. Go to CoinMarketCap, come up here to the top right, type in search, look up the cryptocurrency you're looking for. We're looking at ADAX. Go to ADAX. It's ranked number 3,000, $17 million market cap. Tiny sleeper project. Whatever the price does right now, between 30 cents, 90 cents, $1.50, is completely and utterly irrelevant. This project has not even gotten off the ground yet. I could not care less what the price is doing right now because it has a 10,000x potential because it's so young right now. What you can do is you can come over to CoinMarketCap, go to market right here, and you can see the markets it's listed on. It's only listed on X markets. This is another reason I'm bullish on it. It's a project that is going to go live eventually on a Binance, or it's going to go live eventually on a Coinbase, or it's going to go live on a KuCoin. It's going to go live on these other projects. So give it time. It is a very young project. I bought in up at 90 cents. I'm down 66% on my portfolio. And you know what? I don't care. Because what does it matter? It's going to go up, in my opinion, 10 to 50,000% if it does what it says it's going to do. It's a very speculative project right now. It is barely even launched yet. This is how you find the markets, and that's why I'm confident in it. So let's continue reading super chats here.
Yeah, we got one more here, and that's going to be it for what I see at least. Ryan Turner said thoughts on Ergo for this year.
Is Ergo a cryptocurrency? Because if it is, I'm not familiar with it. I can look at it here on CoinMarketCap, though. It's $111 million market capitalization, ranked 352, $3. Let's look at its markets. It's on a bunch of different markets: Hotbit, Probit, CoinX, KuCoin, Gate.io. I don't know the first thing about this project, so I couldn't tell you. Kelly, have you heard of Ergo before?
Yeah, Ergo, essentially, basically they're trying to sort of, I don't want to say redevelop, but they have their own very sort of in-depth processes that they do DeFi functionality. And it's a very popular project, and it's definitely one that I have my eye on.
Yeah, there you go. Boom.
Yeah.
Any other super chats?
That's all I see. So.
Boom. Guys, by the way, thank you so much for the likes. We got 3,000 people watching, almost 1,500 likes. That's incredible. That's like a 50% like ratio. You guys are amazing. Thank you guys so very much from that. We do have another super chat here.
Juan just said, do you guys got time to check out Chia? They have new P2P trading called, peer-to-peer trading called Offers, kind of DEX on blockchains. Yeah, so I don't think you have time.
I'm not familiar with it, and unfortunately, I'm not going to have time to look into it. Yeah, guys, it's really hard to keep up with all the cryptos. You got to realize there's like 10,000 cryptocurrencies listed on CoinMarketCap, and I do have a job. So and a big part of that is doing technical analysis on the top 100 cryptocurrencies. So I'm trying to focus on those big ones because that's what you guys really want. I look at ADAX, I'm like, oh, that's cool, and I'm interested in it. I'm invested in it personally, but I can't look at every single cryptocurrency. I'm not Kelly. I don't have an encyclopedia of every single cryptocurrency ever created in my mind like he does. But by the way, guys, if you're enjoying today's stream, smash that like button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel because we go live here on Coffee and Crypto, 9:30 Eastern, every single weekday. We're planning on not missing a single stream for the next 3 months, and we don't want to ever miss another stream again. And also, make sure you sign up for TradingView Premium. The link's in the description box down below. I've already shown you all of the amazing benefits of it. You're going to be able to see more candlesticks. You're going to be able to have more premium indicators. You're going to be able to have more indicators, period. You're going to be able to have more alerts. There's a lot that comes with it, and you guys will definitely be very, very thankful that you have that. It is something that I personally cannot live without. In fact, I have my TradingView Premium as a business expense because I use TradingView Premium for my trading and for my investments and for my work here as a company. So I'm not a tax advisor. We do have a tax professional. You can find a link to him down below as well. But to be honest with you, I don't know, but TradingView Premium for your situation could potentially be a tax write-off if you're making your money through a business working on trading and investing. I'm not sure, but it's something that you can talk to your tax professional about. We have one final question here. Zane donated $5, said, thoughts on PDEX? Not familiar with it, my friend. I do apologize for that. Anybody here in the room have any final thoughts before I wrap it out? Opening the door.
I just would not be surprised. I want to go back to Bitcoin real quick because people in chat are freaking out. You can go to my chart. I've said this before. I said this earlier in the show, and I actually even want to change my statement. I don't think that people should freak out about Bitcoin changing back to a downtrend on these lower time frames until we break below about 36.8. Watch the rest of the day. If we do that, then yes, absolutely. We're probably back at the downtrend, which is what we're going to be here in a couple days. But right now, I want everyone, before everyone starts freaking out and selling, don't FOMO in and don't FUD out. Watch the charts, pay attention to what's happening, make sure you don't do anything too early and get, then you have to second guess yourself. Watch what happens as this price hovers in this area. And I just would not be surprised, guys, if we see one more rally to the upside before that dip. That dip is coming. Yep. I don't think the matter is if it's going to happen. The matter is when it's going to happen. And if people think that that's just confirmed, this is the downtrend happening right now. Yep. You might be surprised, and you might end up not necessarily taking the best profit you could have.
Yeah, we have not confirmed that we're going into a downtrend down to $33,000 to $30,000 just yet, but I am pretty confident that it's going to happen. So we will keep you guys updated on that. Look, no matter what the market does, we're going to be here. We ain't going nowhere, just so you know. No matter if we go into a bear market for the next 2 years or what, which I don't think is going to happen, but even if we do, we're going to come at you every single day here on Coffee and Crypto, bring you the latest updates on technical, fundamental, and on-chain analysis. And I do believe this is the best show in the entire cryptocurrency space for that. Tell us in chat if you agree. I'm not trying to be prideful, but I really do just believe that we are the #1 in that, and we are very happy about that because we want to bring you high-quality educational and informational content. Now, let me tell you very quickly what we stand for, and then we're going to wrap it out. We stand for financial sovereignty. What does financial sovereignty mean to me? Financial sovereignty means to me my ability to have full sovereignty, which means control and authority over my finances. That means I am control over whether or not I have enough money to go on a vacation. That means I have enough money to pay for medical bills if one of my family members is in the hospital. That means that I have the full ability to, if I get married and have kids one day, I have the full ability to take care of that family. I have the full ability to buy a home if that's what I want to do. I have the full ability to take care of myself if I get in danger. And by the way, I also have full control over the financial systems that I work with. They don't have full control over me. I do not want to be subservient to my financial systems. I want to have mastery over my financial systems. That's why cryptocurrency is so important, because not only is it an opportunity for you to make the kind of money that you need to live a purpose-driven life, which is our mission statement, it also is the kind of industry that allows you to take back control and authority and power over your financial systems rather than the bank telling you where you're allowed to spend money, rather than the Federal Reserve telling you that you're going to lose money to inflation. It gives you authority and financial control over one of the most important assets you have in your life, which is your finances. We stand for financial sovereignty. We want to help you achieve financial sovereignty. Drop a hashtag FinSov in chat if you haven't already, and make sure you subscribe to the channel because we want to see you succeed, and we want to help you to do that financially so that you can live that purpose-driven life that God has called you to. I believe that we all have a purpose that we're called to, and when we walk in that purpose, that's where we find true fulfillment and joy, and we want to help equip you financially to be able to do just that. That's what we stand for at the very core. It has taken me 5 years to try and figure out how to articulate that, but that's what we're here to do. We want to teach you not what to think, but how to think. We want to teach you not what to believe the market's going to do, but how to figure out what the market is going to do so that you can be liberated and free to go and figure out how to operate with your finances on your own rather than having to be subservient to us because you have to come to us for technical and fundamental analysis. I want to teach you how to do that on your own and then be a conversation starter for you and your friends and your family and your community. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Follow us on our social medias at CryptoJebb on Instagram and Twitter, at CryptoJebbOfficial on TikTok. We're posting to all of those platforms more or less daily. Make sure that you follow us so that you can be kept up to date for the #1 technical analysis, on-chain, and fundamental analysis show in the entire space. Guys, before I go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good